Let's bring in retired LAPD Sergeant Cheryl Dorsey. She is the author of the upcoming book, The Confidence Chronicles, the greatest crime story never told. That sounds juicy. Sergeant Dorsey, good morning. We are now hearing from witness after witness in this case who saw clear red flags between these two people before Petito's death. Her fiance gets this significant head start when he goes missing. His parents obviously, can't really do anything about it. He's an adult. But to me, this just seems like a classic case of domestic violence. And I wonder, in your mind, as an expert, did investigators drop the ball here?
Listen, I absolutely believe that those officers who responded to that domestic violence call should have done more and could have done more, even if there wasn't a legitimate reason to make an arrest. Just, once an officer gets involved in a radio call, when we're called out, we have a duty to make sure that everybody is okay. And you can't just extricate a police officer once you've inserted them into a situation. At the very least, they could have done something that some might consider inconveniencing, take them to the station, put her in a place where she can speak to someone outside of his presence truthfully and candidly about what was going on. There's going to be a lot of finger pointing, and they understand that civil liability is no doubt down the road.
Yeah, the officers there separated the two. They slept in different places for the day to cool off. And also, it's very clear that perhaps the 911 call information was not relayed properly maybe to them. We'll have to see what the investigation finds, what those police officers thought they would be finding on the side of the road. Sergeant Dorsey, authorities ramping up the search now for Brian Laundrie, the boyfriend, the fiance. They have dive teams that have been brought in. We also know his parents have been interviewed. Tell us what you think is happening on the ground in Florida right now for this search.
Well, we now know that Gabby's death has been classified as a homicide, so they may very well be, certainly they should know the cause of death, quite possibly, and may be looking for evidence relative to if there were any injuries on the body, instruments of death, if you will, could be something that they're looking for. Evidence of Laundrie either having been in the area or still in the area may be something of interest to them. And what is the family saying, and what is the veracity of the direction that the family has pointed them in terms of, is he even there? Did he get a head start? Is he in a different direction? There's so much that we don't know, but I'm sure the authorities are keeping a lot of this information rightfully away from the public.
Right. Sergeant Dorsey, it seems to me that this case highlights two things. One, how the sort of everyday violence against women is not taken as seriously as perhaps it should be in so many cases. At the same time, you have an overwhelming public response to this case that you do not see in all missing persons cases. You just don't. In just Wyoming alone, where Petito's remains were found, hundreds of Indigenous women have gone missing in the last decade. I cannot remember in my lifetime a case of a young Black woman receiving this level of public attention with digital detectives searching all over social media for her. How do you correct this?
Well, listen, I mean, the onus would certainly be on the police department to hold a press conference. They know how to do that when they want to. The media certainly has a role to play because you guys are talking about this.
Right.
And so why aren't you talking about this for those 400 missing Indigenous women there in Wyoming? Everybody has a part to play in terms of bringing this to the forefront. And I've read articles that have spoken to investigations being underfunded. So it seems like there's really not much value placed on the bodies of these missing Indigenous women in Wyoming. And all of that needs to change. And the community needs to hold the police department accountable and make sure that they do.
Yeah, well, and it's sort of cyclical, right? Because the more media attention there is, the more pressure there is on law enforcement to react. And you are seeing that certainly on the ground in Florida now. All right, retired LAPD Sergeant Cheryl Dorsey, thanks so much for getting up with us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.